Hello, hello, Rhoda here. Welcome to my craft room. Today we're working on more of the Junk Journal January, and we're going to do 3 of the prompts today. And I'm going to do a sneaky peek of the journal that I did for Walmart Wednesday. I've got it filled up. It's ready to go. I got one of the balls in here. I glued it up underneath when I tied in the signature to the hidden signature part. I slid one of these onto the thread, so that's how it's attached. And here's how the back turned out. I got it nice and taut now, and it looks like it works really well. Here's the front, in case you didn't get to see it from before. And I've covered up the season's greetings with winter wishes, but I kind of left some of the tags with season's greetings because, I mean, in a way, it's kind of like the season's greeting you. The winter season is greeting you. That's what I'm looking at. So I put some of the tags in here, and I had this one paper that had like splotchy designs on it, and I thought that went really well with some of the pieces in here. So I cut a few tags out and a few pockets. I also had some leftovers from this winter digital kit that I've got. It had like a freebie that came with it that was like a little book of stamps. And I used these recently for something, and I had a few of them left over. Here's my crinkle paper. As you can see, I got my hidden signature glued in. It's just one signature. That's my crinkle paper. I thought I would open with that because it's got sort of the colors. And here's where I added the napkin. I just kind of added it in here at the very beginning because it's got warm winter wishes. And it goes with this background so well that it's kind of invisible. Here is my paper from, the handmade paper from Keon. And it's just mostly paper. I didn't really do much of anything to this. But this is how they kind of turned out. That was that mica sprayed paper I did through the summer. And then it's got that kind of a cool background. And I thought the yellows and the blues went with that. And here's what I meant about leaving season's greetings on there. And another little stamp, wildlife stamp. But this will be a good one. And you can even write on this handmade paper as well. For somebody who just wants to journal. So I'm leaving it up to them how they want to get in here and go about it. Here's one that I actually put that negative die cut on that tag. And the doily, I folded it up to where it would fit in here. So it's like 8.5 tall. And then I put a white kind of cardstock background behind it. Just so it gave it strength and it made it a pocket. Because, otherwise it doesn't do well. When you don't like line a doily, if you're wanting to make a pocket out of it, it doesn't work. Believe me, I have done that before. Well, I hope everybody is doing good today and happy and healthy. Getting through these winter months. We're halfway through January now. My goodness. I just love that denim color. And especially where it's all modeled like that. And yeah, I've got another one of my little portfolios to show you at the end. None of these little ribbons want to stick up in here. I don't know why. I didn't care about the Mary. I mean, that could go for different things. If you want to think of it as Christmas, but it looks more like it's like a merry winter. Yeah, I'm trying to push that, aren't I? All right, so here's the last of it. I like that kind of mottled looking thing there. And then I put the season's greetings that's on the front back here. And I tried to glue these little snowflakes down. They didn't go all the way down. And then some of them got covered up. So that's okay. That's okay. And then that's our back. So there was your sneaky peek. And I think that if they didn't want this ball on there, they could cut that off. Yeah, it's kind of there and it's kind of not. All right, like I mentioned, we're going to be doing 3 of these today. And I want to do overlap, opaque, and balance. I don't know if I had balance figured out yet. So maybe we just do the 2. I do have neutral ready. So it may be I just skip the balance page and we go to neutral. So we might do that. Let me stick that out here so I can remind myself. And then here's what I'll do, like a flip through here so you can kind of see what we've done so far. It's kind of fun to look through these to see all the different things that you've done. I think everybody really loved this one. And I like that one as well. That was my favorite. Okay, so we have a page here and here. We'll be skipping that one because that's going to be balance. And then we'll go to that page. I kind of have an idea of what I want to do for balance. So it could be that I change my mind. You know how I am. I change my mind all the time. So we're going to pull this one out because the front and the back will be the next two things that we're going to work with. Okay. So, yeah. had to look at that a minute. So overlap. Let me get everything I want for that. I believe it's this. I mean, some of these are going to be kind of simple, but it's got some good ideas. Like this one is something that I did for back in my grungy sunflower journal. Now this is just going to be like a journal card in it. And I've been wanting to use up more of my people. So I'm going to set him on there like he's sitting on that little circle there. So he can go to the side. Now this is going to be the background paper, but we're going to do something kind of special to it. And I wanted to put a little bit of this underneath of where it's going to show. That's just my gift tissue. This is great. If you've got gift tissue, especially with patterns, there's so many different patterns that I've got. It goes a long way. And like you can use that collage medium with it. You can use glue stick. You can use just regular glue with it because it's a little sturdy. Especially these ones that's got a treatment to them. So I don't know exactly how much I'm needing here. And I may actually need to get another piece or rip this to where I can see more of it. But the way I want to do this, I'll probably do that later, is I want to fold this up. And it doesn't really have anything on the back side of it. So let's say we get this piece of paper out here. And we're going to do a little ink daubing on the back of it here. I'll take and do some vintage photo. That'll kind of look like it's almost the same color as the paper bag. So I just want to put a little bit of color on here because I'm going to be almost accordion folding it. I'm trying to remember exactly how I actually made the one before, what I actually used. Maybe I used more of a cardstock type of paper, but I don't think it's really necessary. So I guess it's up to you how you want to go about this. And I'm going to go at least this far up because you have to fan fold it several times. And, okay, I think that's good. Get that out of the way. And then the whole folding scenario here, I want to have that pointing down, definitely. And then you kind of fan fold it, and you kind of do it, to tell you the truth, fan folding it, you're seeing more of the back than you are the front. I thought you'd see more of the front. All right, let's see. Let's see what I need to try to keep the corner down there as close as possible. All right, now here's how we're going to kind of get more of a more of the front showing. There we go. I'm going to do it about like that. Although you can get in here and adjust if you don't like where the fold is lying. I didn't quite like the way that one was lying. There. All right. Now this isn't too time consuming or hard to do, but the thing is, before you start gluing your folds in, kind of pull it out, and we're going to cut. I'm going to find my X-Acto knife here. Oh, get the glue out of the way. But right where that fold is, I'm going to get in here and I'm going to cut like maybe a 1/2 inch in to about a 1/2 inch down here at the bottom. Oh, well, it's not cutting very cleanly, I can say that. Let's go back over it again. What in the world? Well, you won't be able to see this, but yeah, it's kind of jiggy-jaggy. It might be time to change that blade, because it has not been changed since I've used it, I think. All right, another way to fix that, if you don't have an X-Acto knife, is to get in here, and that's what I'm going to do here. I'm going to just get in here and trim that out very shallowly, and that'll make a clean cut for me. All right, I think that's good. Got one little piece here. We got a card that's going to go in and out of it, so I want it to be as clean as possible, just so it doesn't hold up the card from sliding in and out. That's the whole idea there. All right, so let's get our glue in here and figure out what we want to do. So this is going to glue down here. I don't know how far in it needs to go. Maybe down in here. And that can go down like so. Well, I think sometimes when you put ink, distress ink on things, it doesn't glue very well. I don't understand why. It's kind of like it's resisting. All right, let me get that glue under that one. And then the glue under this one. Okay. And then you also have to get under here. Don't go under that first one, but we're going to get under this one and glue that down. And this one. Now you could have left it where it would fan fold in and out, but I liked it because it had such a grungy look to it. Now, before I used staples. I was really grungying it up, so I was using staples to hold all of this together. And you can do that as well. Okay, so our little guy over here, we're going to put him on the piece. Yeah, I've been needing to use up a whole lot of paper dolls. I've seen people using some paper dolls that I haven't seen, and I really like the look of them. So I'm not sure which ones they're using. I've got quite a few, but usually they're in the Halloween set or the groups. I think I got the groups, and then I had the very original singles one that had all the different size people. Okay, now we want to also get in here and cut our corners. We don't want the corners. And then they can journal all over the back side of this if they wanted to. I'm just going to leave it white. And the next part was to put in, the next part was to put in for the tissue paper. And that's where I need to look at this and see if I need to actually pull a piece out and use it. Yeah, I do, because that doesn't do it. It does not cover what I want it to cover. But I think I had a little bit of gold on the opposite page of this one, and that's why I wanted to use this. Okay, let's see about pulling this out and trimming it off about right there, I think. Okay, now this is great when you want to just decorate stuff up and you have little pieces of this left over, like that I didn't get to use. You can put it on the top of collages, on top of tags. You know, it just dresses everything up. So let's just go ahead. That is definitely big enough. We're going to go ahead and see about cutting this edge as close as possible. Or maybe I can fold it. Let's try that. Let's just fold it under. And that might do what I need it to do. Yeah, I think that does it. Alright, let's put it on there. And I'm using my Bearly Arts glue. And do I need to start telling you more about my art? I have a book over here, one of the smaller ones that I started to try to get set up as a portfolio for my pen and ink drawings. Now I've got a few other things in there, but mostly it was set up for pen and ink. I was trying to write down information about each one, what year I did it, or even more than the year if I had all the full date, what it was for, that kind of thing. So I really wanted to get that done. Now back then, if I was thinking about going out to get a job with the art, that's where you needed the portfolio. And it was to, you know, it could be used for anything. I think I got them at Michael's, maybe. I was telling you I got this one in Baltimore when we were down there visiting my aunt. And so there was a shop there, and I saw this black case, and it didn't have any papers or places to put the artwork unless it was just large pieces. So it was more like just a little attaché case, I guess you would call it. I'm not really sure what it would be labeled as. But I got that. That was my first time getting anything like that to put my stuff in. I don't even know what it was in before that, to tell you the truth. Hard to tell. Now this part over here on the end, I hope will not be seen. Although I'm going to see if I can move this just a little bit inward. Yeah, that in there, I can always get a marker on it as well. Oh. Rats. Okay. There. I think that's good. Let me get my bone folder and rub on here and see if I can straighten out any wrinkles that may have occurred while I was digging at that. And I'm thinking, I don't think I need to really do any other gluing to this. I was thinking about gluing it down like maybe just right there on that little corner piece to help hold that down. And maybe I can do a little bit down here at this corner, just to help it stay that way. And then we have this piece that will actually tuck in here. Hopefully it tucks in right, just like that. Now I should have went over a little bit further on my pocket. But then again, I can get in there and hopefully cut just a little bit further in. I don't want to make the hole too large. See if I can do that there. Yeah, I don't want the hole to be too large, otherwise it's going to fall through. Yeah, I think that'll work. And the whole idea here was that you can see the lower part of the tag as well as the upper part. And you can like put something on this base piece down here. If you wanted to have a saying or something, that would be doable as well. Okay, so that's done. That is our overlap page. And the overlap, of course, is where the folding occurs. All right, let's put that one down as done. I'm getting a little stressed because I haven't gotten that many done yet. All right, our next assignment is opaque. Now, you'll probably really enjoy this one. Let me get set up. Okay, so the things we're going to need is my little Sizzix here. And I'm going to set that to the side for right now until I get my background done. And then I'm using this. I just had to have this because of that Viewmaster. I used to have a Viewmaster when I was little. Loved the thing. Loved it. But we're not going to use that today. We're only going to be using the slide. This is the film strip. That's the slide. And if you're looking at all these things, this is where you would cut out something to put into the slide. The small ones here that are rectangles go in here, and the square ones go around here. But this is Vault Picture Show 666602. All right, so let's get out the film strip one, because that's the only one I'm needing. And I don't know that I'm going to need the cut for the center of it, but I'll pull that out just in case. All right. Next we have the little guys. They are going to be what I cut out. So it could be that I put them through there so I know exactly how big to make them. But I'm going to cut each one of their little heads out, and they're going to be in the film strip. Next, I needed a background for my piece, and I think I've chosen this to be on the background. I like that because it's sort of a frame, and so we're going to use that. I think that was Rach and Bella Designs or something. Now, this was from Tracy Fox Creative, The Curious Case of Craftly Hall, and there was a camera. So that's where I'm going for there. I don't know if I'm going to cut it out as a tag, or am I going to try to cut as close around, which is probably what I'll do, as possible to get the camera to come out of there. So I will set that to the side for now. And let me go over there, or let me go over here and see the size that I need to cut it. Trying to get it centered. That card in there is wiggling around. All right, so let me see if I can get it as centered as possible here. So it's going to be there and there. And then it needs to be, well, it's, I've got to cut it where I can cut it there. Okay, so let me get this over there and trim on it, and I'll be right back. Okay, I've also got a little piece of vellum. That is what? Opaque. I think the word opaque means that you can see through it, but it's a little cloudy. I believe that's what it means. Now, translucent, that means you can see completely through it. So those are a couple of art terms that are sometimes hard to figure out. Now, I want to make a frame that's going to be just the same size as this piece of vellum. I think I've got it cut off straight. That one top part doesn't look like it, but we'll go with it. So now what I want to do is to cut inside of those areas and just kind of eyeball it. I think it's going to be sort of a, what'd you call that? Quarter of an inch maybe? I think that's what that is. But I'm thinking I may have told you about everything that I did. Oh no, there was a few things that I did in high school. Okay. Now there was a time when, and I think you may see that in this book that I'm showing you here at the end, but there was a few things that I was in, and there was a calendar that the Augusta County Schools was making and to be sold and everything, but it was to house the school's artwork, different schools around the area in the Augusta County region. So we were to have it as a pen and ink. And I forget, but I think the teacher had figured out what each one of us was going to be drawing, that type of thing. Now I'm just going to kind of cut the middle of this out, and then I'm going to work through all the different pieces here. But yeah, we were to draw whatever was on our picture, and then they were all to be sent off and to be judged to who was going to go into the calendar. I was in it. So I have that photo. I saved that from, I think they gave me a whole calendar, to tell you the truth. And I saved my photo from it. I didn't save the whole calendar. Another thing, I can't even remember. I think it was high school. We were all to, I think it was to do watercolors. Now, that was always my favorite, watercolor. But we were to do watercolors and make a scene of something, I guess, in Virginia, something memorable, historical, something along those lines. I can't remember the rules exactly. But I did Natural Bridge. And, of course, y'all that don't live in Virginia or around my area, that is actually a natural bridge made out of rock. It's in Rockbridge County, which is named for the bridge itself. And it has, I think it's George Washington's, what do you got, graffiti? It has George Washington's graffiti up on the wall. I mean, back then, I think the stream bed was up higher. The land was up higher. And he was able to get up there to put his name way up high. And then over the years, the floods and everything has washed down and made the actual graffiti signatures way up in there. I can't remember if there was anybody else memorable up there with him. I think there was a couple people, but you definitely could see George Washington. And it has a trail. We went there one time in school, and it has a trail that goes through there. And I remember we went up to, it was like a little shack or a shed, but up there they tumbled stones, and there was all kinds of, and that was another one of my loves, rocks and stones. So I had gotten a few things up there. And anyway, that's what I watercolored. And it won something. I don't know if it was just me. I think there was several people throughout the school district or whatever that had their pieces put in, and it was Shad Solomon. I don't know if anybody remembers that guy, but it was Shad Solomon's office. That's where it was. Now, I'm going to put this down first on my paper, and then that goes on top of here, and then we're going to play with that, and you'll see what I'm going to do with it. But yeah, it was Shad Solomon's office, and let's see, the governor, delegate. I think he was a delegate. It's on my paperwork because I kept the certificate that I got with it, and it kind of has all that on there. But yeah, that was kind of fun. It's always fun to do it, get in competitions. You know me, I like challenges. Another thing that I was part of, and I really kicked myself that I never got the window done. But remember when people used to paint windows and such in town? Well, Glassner Jewelers, I always have trouble saying that word, Jewelers, they had a shop down in town on the corner, and people went there all the time. This was before the mall and everything grew up out in the other end of town, so people started going out there and that kind of thing. But what happened was people were doing paintings for Halloween on their windows. And you got this special kind of acrylic paint, and you would be able to paint on the window. And I had sketched out my design. I forget which one of my books it's in. But yeah, I sketched out my design and everything. And I think I've got a letter from them for thanking me for doing that. Although, goodness, they didn't have much to see. Now, I'm pinching up because I'm going to be squeezing something underneath of here, and I need it to have a little give to it. So when you push inward with your fingers, like if you have a pocket you're putting down and it looks like it's like a tight pocket, you can do the pinchy thing and see it's bowed out. Once you pinch it, it bows out. And that's a little trick for you when you're doing a tight pocket or a tight tuck or something that needs to have a little bit of give to it. All right, the next thing we're doing, we got the whole background done. That's all I was doing to it. Now we got to work on our little guys. And I think what I need to do is to cut them apart first. I don't think I was ever going to be able to use them all together. They're just so big, you know. So we're going to do this. We're going to put each one of them down. I got to get my washi tape. So yeah. Those are some of the things that I definitely remember, and I remember them from going through some of my books in there, or my portfolios and such, and seeing the things that I used to do. You got to see the Model Congress, where I had drawn a few things to go into the Model Congress booklet, whatever you want to call that thing. So that was done. It was just, I don't know, just all kinds of things that you could have. And we're not going to be able to save their bottom half, so they're going to have to go. But it was always interesting to participate in all these different things that the class had to do. I just had so much fun. I think one of the other things we used to do, and I kept mine, there was this guy named Colt Payton, and he always thought he was the guy, the thing. Now, he was a cute guy, I'll give you that. He was cute, but he was braggarty and all that kind of stuff. So, anyhow, he was on the basketball team. I think he was JV. And he, we all had to make posters for the guys to put up around the gym for when they had their games, and that was kind of part of their rooting squad kind of information, I guess. Besides the cheerleaders, which of course my sister, she was a cheerleader for years, like the 4 years of high school. I think she was a cheerleader. And then the last 2, I think she was the head cheerleader. And, of course, she dated the quarterback. And now I thought I had something I was going to cut this out of. Okay, I've got some of that mixed media black Canson paper that I've used recently in the past. And I'm trying to see if I can get 2 out of this one. Nope, I can't. So I'll just put one up here and send it through. Yeah, but my sister used to date the quarterback. And she was always at home learning her splits and doing her cheers and all that kind of stuff. So I was sometimes in the gym doing things like that, but I was never into sports or cheering. I remember this one cheer she used to do all the time was Red Hot, and it was RED H-O-T. Red hot, yeah. I don't think I can get banned for that because that's not a real song. So anyhow, it was always interesting. Okay, let me get my, I don't know if I can use this or I have to get my pokey tool. It is kind of close. Well, there we go. Oh, those were the holes. So I got little holes to poke out too. But that's what I have for a slide. Isn't that cute? And in a way, I wish this cut line wasn't there. Because then you would have the whole surface. Now, see, I'm going to have to actually cut out, or maybe I can spray these and glue them back in. Oh, I think I know what I can do. Okay. So, I've also got this paper, which was just some scrap. And I think if I cut it just right, I can get 2 out of it. Yeah, there we go. So yes, I used to do something for my school along those lines. I don't think there was anything in any of the gym classes that I liked. I was not into anything. Now, I did like the dodgeball, the foursquare, though those are not any type of sport-related activities. Oh, my goodness. All right. Then I have to poke this out to get it to come out. I keep poking out one hole, but that's not the hole to, to poke. And usually when you go to use your your die again, you try to poke out everything that's in the holes, because they'll just start building up and then it won't cut correctly. And then I'm going to stick this one on here. I'll just go ahead and put it this way. Oh, there's my tape. And you can use the tape a couple times and it finally just gives up. All right, let me get the... Oh my goodness. There. I remember one time, and I didn't like government class at all. Although I was the one chosen to do the artwork for the front of the thing. That was the only thing I liked in that class. I used to sit in there, and we're supposed to be reading or studying or something. Well, I had gotten to the Harlequin stage at this point. So I was in there reading a Harlequin, which I had buried inside of my government book. Oh, yeah. She came and caught me. And she kept it. I think she was up there looking through it. Oh, my gosh. Yeah. What fun. So, let me get this off of my desk, and I'll be right back. Okay, next we're going to take our 3 little panels that the boys' faces are going on, and I'm going to spray them with this Phantom Mist mica stain, because you know how you'll see some of those pictures that they sort of have like a, almost like a, what do you call that? A mercury kind of a stain to them. Okay, so I'm going to go with that, and I'm going to have to let that dry. I'm also going to have to wipe my nose off. Always wipe the nose off your mica spray, because they'll plug up. But I've also cut out the camera, and this looks like, I don't know, it's got like a little TV set on top of it. But if it had a bag around it, it would almost remind me of the one my grandma's brother-in-law used to use. He used to be Picture Taking D, and he would take pictures all over the town. It wasn't a town, actually. All over the countryside. And he had photos in everybody's houses. Alright, and as those are drying, I've cut out this little panel here that is just a scrap piece of paper. It's got more of a cardstock feel to it, but I'm going to ink the outside edges of it just because I think that part might be seen. The edges and the little bit of lip here. Actually, I might want to do a little bit further in because of those holes that actually stick out. So that's what we're going to do to treat this and get it ready. And I can go ahead and glue those down because they're ready to go as well. And the back piece, if you think to make anything like this, it can be for the journaling. Because we always need a little spot to journal, right? Especially if it's secret journaling. We don't want anybody to see it. So I think that's about all I can think of that I did in high school. And then, like I told you, I went to North Carolina. I lived down there about 5 years. The first 3, I think, is when I was living with Gina, and then she got married. So I guess I had to figure out something else to do then. So I think I got a place with this other girl, and then I started going to the college. And I think I went and started as a medical assistant and then changed my mind because I think that's what Gina had gone into. So I always liked science. I liked anything to do with that. So I think that's what attracted me. But I don't think I would be good as a person by a bedside or I would want to deal with, all of those things that has to do with the sick bed. I liked more the researching and the discoveries and things like that. I think I would have really liked to have been in a lab kind of a scenario and that kind of thing. But anyhow, I finally got around to go into the college. And I think I can't remember what you call it, but when they help you out, whatever that's called, or they help you out. But then if they help you out, you can't get a job or something, if I remember right. So I couldn't get a job. So what happened was they gave me, I think it was 10 hours on the school time. So I worked with somebody and I would run errands for them or whatever they needed to be done. And since I had that typing class, now see, this is a little bigger than I was wanting it to be. So we're going to have to cut this down. So yeah, since I had that typing class, that lucked out because there was this Dr. Jo Hendricks. She was a math teacher. I forget what kind of math. It was really high up. She was a really, really smart lady. And anyhow, I was in there the first year typing, and I was helping with the yearbook. So there were all these other people that would go out, and they would be the kind of like the reporters, and they would take the photos and all those kind of things. And then they would bring me back the articles that they wrote up after Dr. Hendricks okayed them and checked them out and everything. And then I would type them up. And they'd be ready to go. And it was fun. And then that second year, after I went into art, that's when, I don't know if you could call me the head of the yearbook or whatever it was, but I got a camera. They sent me off to boot camp to learn how to take photos and what to do and that type of thing. It was pretty pretty awesome. Pretty interesting and awesome. I'm going to like get a little tissue and dab off what has not dried on here, because we don't need it. Yeah, they sent me up to Boone, North Carolina, and we did a class up there on how to take photos. And I can't remember if they showed me how to develop film, but I learned how to develop film. Not that I kept that up. And we did have a dark room there at the college. So yeah, all of these fun things got to learn. And oh gosh, now I got some tissue over here. Might have to use it to push this down. But I got to learn all of that stuff. And you got to learn how to do layouts, which when you were doing your pieces, and I've got a big one in one of my big portfolios, because I was going to do a speech, or yeah, it was something to do with a speech that we had to do for one of our classes. And if you got a high enough grade, you didn't need it, but you should have been, you know, I guess, prepared in case you didn't have a high grade. But I did, so I never had to do it. But it was I was all prepared, and I hated speeches. Oh my gosh, I despised the speech. Anything to do with getting in front of the class, because of my stage fright, you know. I couldn't handle it. All right, so we got to put our little guys down on here now. Get this out of here. But see how it kind of gives you that look? It's like a mercury treated kind of a piece of film. It's kind of cool, isn't it? All right, let's get all of our little dudes over here. Maybe this was the guy that did the school book photos. Now that we're talking about the yearbooks. So yeah, we had fun. And I used to do, just like at the nursing home where I was the activity assistant and all that, and I did all those huge calendars, I guess you would call them. And what those were about was that I was telling when all of these things are happening, like when the bingo and when the movie day and that kind of stuff. They would get to know, or what holidays were happening. And there was like several of them all through the nursing home that I would have fixed up for them to look at. But so, just like with Dr. Hendrix's class or office, because it was an outer office, and that's where I worked with the typewriter and getting a yearbook and all that. And then she had her inner office where, you know, the door shut and she could have some privacy and everything. But yeah, there was a door out in the hallway, and I was forever doing something for each holiday. I would hand draw it up, and it was there. Okay, so I'm not going to get to the third one, which is okay. I was kind of out of sequence, and that would have bothered me. So I can show you my book. But let's finish this out so you can see how I intended for opaque to be used. And boy, these are some spindly little legs here. I haven't laid this down, so of course I'm not sure how it's going to function on my page, but we're going to see if we can get it to work. Okay, yeah. So, it might be I'm going to be cutting some pieces off here. Then again, I don't think it'll hurt. If I let that leg kind of go over to the outside, I think I will be good. Hey. Because that's down and it'll be out of the way. That works for me. How about you? Don't let me get in there and do some cutting or trimming, because we want that to be, oops, off of there. And we want this to be off of here, because this is in the spine. All right, there we go. Now, let me get this on here. Get this capped, and I'm going to show you what we're doing. So, we have our film strip. And that is going to go down. Hopefully I made it big enough. And you're able to see the little guys. I may have pooched that up too far. But you're able to see the little guys through the opaque covering. How you like that? You can make him out. He's not supposed to be totally visible, but oh well. Alright, let's put this in our book. Oh, goodness. Alright. So, this goes like this. The other side of the butterfly. Yep. And this is what we have. We have our overlap, which we have to get in here. And then we had opaque. I'm quite a few days behind, aren't I? I'll catch up soon. Oh, so yeah. There is our overlap page that has the little tuck spot, which maybe I should have went in the other direction. But I thought it was a cool idea to have a tuck spot kind of like that holds tag. And then we got over here to where we have our film strip with opaque. And you can see the little guys peeking out at you as they're going down through there. All right, I hope you enjoyed that. Yeah, let me get this back in here where we got it tucked, and let me get my book out, and we're going to look at what I got to show you. And then I had been fixing this one up so it would have the words and everything on it, and my name, and oh, over here I have like pen and ink. Well, I did have pencil on here, marker, and pastel. I don't think it had all those in here, did it? Maybe it did. But these are some of my early on drawings. Especially this one. This was 1978. I think that's, what is it, your freshman, sophomore, I can't remember. It's the second year of high school, otherwise 9th grade. Whatever that was. So she gave us, and then Boo. Boo is my nickname. Boo Boo. Because I was a Boo Boo. I used to think they named me after Yogi Bear's little friend, but no, I was a Boo Boo. Something about my sister. She was a loudmouth, cried all the time. My dad hardly could get any sleep for work the next day. So he didn't want any more kids for a while. And I was a boo-boo. But of course, I was quiet. I didn't even cry. I was like in the crib looking around at things and figuring things out, even when I was a baby. So anyhow, this comes about where I learned cross-hatching, stippling, and those type of things, which are very interesting. So as you can see, it's more of an outline kind of drawing, but as you can see in here where the shading is happening, this is what you call hatching, is when you go in one direction only. Then when you go back in another direction, that's cross hatching, where you're making almost like an X, just like here. And then I don't know what it meant when you did more than that, because in here I really shaded it. But then there's another thing called stippling, and that's where you just dot. And you will see that on some of my other drawings here. This is another really old one, 1978. And it was called The Farm. And what was the idea I put up here? Oh, this was a magazine photo with the ram. And then this one was also a magazine photo. So I guess she was giving us magazines to go by. Now, I had Boo on the other one. I put my real name on that one. Oh, gosh. Anyway. So I always thought that looked like two eyeballs. And then here's one that's called the Jabberwocky. I did that one in blue ink pen, I guess. And it was just my own idea. It's just some crazy thing I come up with. Now, here is the calendar. This was from 1980, Stone Ridge Farm. So, it was the 1980 Art Department's Augusta County Public Schools. So, that's what that was from. And I said, for a calendar of Augusta County schools, mine chosen at Buffalo Gap. Okay. But yeah, you can see where I did the cross-hatching. I'm still not seeing any stippling, but you can really see just hatching right there a lot. And then cross-hatching is on the steps. So, and then here is trinket. That was, I don't know if that was the first of me doing these side views, but it seems like it. Especially looking at the date and how long ago it was. All right. And then we had, oh, here's the one-eyed people. Okay. And you'll see a few of these in here that's copies, and I wanted to put them in here, but the original, probably you've already seen in a few cases. Even her, I think she was pencil. I don't think she was pen and ink. But this was 1981. Yeah, number 2 pencil. And then some of them I did not know when. So I just have tidbit 1980s. I don't really know from a statue of Patsy Miller's. I thought it was a lamp, but I guess it was a statue. Okay. And then here's another of my one-eyed ladies. 1982. And yeah. This is stippling right there where I've got nothing but dots to look like shading and shadowing. So yeah, I did a lot of that for her. I didn't do any cross hatching. I must have got out of it. What did I do for Tess over here? Yeah, I did a little bit of hatching on her, but mostly she is very delicately cross hatched. Now this one is a really big one that I did. And I've got it. I tried to get these in date order the other day. And it took me a while. But there's a really big one of this. And I don't know if you're going to be able to see it because it's so large. But it's Fairy Tale. And I spelt it T-A-I-L. Because I was thinking of the horse's tail. So, I don't know. I had so many people... They get all wound up when they see one eyeball. Where's the other eye? Where's the other eye? And I don't only have one nose hole too. But they get so wound up on things. They got wound up on that tail as well. Because I made a bunch of copies of that. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, I did. Now this is the one that was hanging down at Betty's Burger Palace when that guy came in and saw my drawings and wanted me to do the mall people. And he's a unicorn Pegasus. I used to love doing anything with that. Now, you saw the dragon the other day. He was from 1983. And he is a pen and ink. And, oh, well, what do I have? 2 of those? Oh, no. That's the other one. Okay, because I did Fairy Tale. And then I did this one. And, yeah, that's a different one. So this one is the capture in 1983. And like I was telling you the other day, that had to do with the version with the golden lasso who's able to catch a unicorn. That was the idea there. You can see the dragon's cave back here with the castle and the cratered moon behind there. Here's my little brontosaurus. I think I may have showed that to you, didn't I? I think I did. I had it in the other book, but it was a pen and ink, so I stuck it in here. Now, these are those, and I found one of these to show you. These were like book markers, or books, put them in books and write your name on it. This is the artwork of Boris Vallejo. And as you can see, he did all these basically naked ladies almost, but he had the horses and everything in there, the different worlds, the sci-fi look to it. So I was all into that. But here was, that was Timarita. I don't know what the dates are for these two. And then there was Cleo. Yeah, she's got some different joints on her because look the way her legs are and everything. Oh my gosh. And then I don't know if I showed you that one. These are huge. I didn't write the sizes, but these are on like that 18 by 24 paper. But she is an Amazonian warrior. But I love the plants. Look at that one plant. I love it. And then I don't know about that one. But she's got a little cobra down here coming up to her. You saw this, I believe. That was 1984. I did this zebra in 84. So it wasn't for school. I don't know. I guess I was just doing it. And then we have a horse here that I did in 84. Pen and ink, 11 by 17. Yeah. I think these are actually bigger. These are copies. And then we have this Hilda. Yeah, she was like the, what was I saying? The Viking lady? Yeah. And then here's Jaspin. He was in 85. And then I just did this head of this unicorn in 85. And here, I actually got a horse. Now, I didn't tell you that. I actually got to buy a horse. It was not a horse you could ride. That was different. This was just, she was not really broken. So I could rope her in a circle and do stuff like that with her. But to get on her back, no. But this is when I was able to study her. And I started to get better on my horse, you know, way his legs are, its conformation, that kind of thing. She got a mean look on her face, but that's one of her good days. Also, I forget where I was here, 88. It must have been when I was down in North Carolina, maybe. But this guy wanted to make t-shirts for his name was Adams, Spanish Arabians. So he wanted me to draw something that he could iron onto shirts and give him a logo. So here's my logo. And then over here, I did a Pegasus. And I really was trying to get the detail on the wings pretty good. And that was sometime in the 1980s. So this next bunch just says 1980s. And I really don't know when that happened. I don't know. Now here is Polera. It's another one of them crazy people I was drawing. But I love her eyeballs and stuff. And then this, I was doing a few things from book covers. So this was a Harlequin. And her name was Marilla. But I pencil drawed her. She didn't turn out too good. And then Mom had her for a while. So she got pinholes and everything else in her. I don't know what the devil she was doing with them. You saw the deer the other day. And then turkey. I know you saw that. And then this is, oh gosh, what do you call this? The word horse used to create one. Well, I thought there was a certain word for that. You can see the H, the O, the R, the S, and the E to create horse. And then that was niacin. And, oh, I always loved Migsy. She's pencil. But I've always loved her. She crazy look about her. Especially them bug eyes. Looks like a praying mantis. And then this one, she looks evil. And I just called her a Plutonian woman. And then here's Lori. I think I thought I showed you one of her before. But she's the deer woman. And then I have this one that's kind of crooked in here. I think this is Amazonia. But she got a little thing. I think I showed her to you as well. But the reason I got these little pieces, these are just photos. But I want to make copies and put those in here. So where it's the large size. I'll get around to that one of these days. Oh, and then I've got this weird looking woman here. Didn't I have another one back there? It was Vesuvian. But she's got horns coming out of her chin, her mouth, under her eyes, and on her head. Yeah. And then here's Gwendolyn. And then this is sort of where I'm getting into being down in North Carolina. So this was the Christmas card. So I'm a little out of date because I had a 1988 back there. So this is the Christmas card that I made us, where I have us on the front. I got that on the very back, and it would fold up in 4s. And then you had the rest of the card this way. So one of these days I might actually copy that for something. This was all the schools in the area coming into Wilkes Community College. I did that in 1990. I know that because I actually put the date on there. And then we have this. I'll probably show you a larger photo of this at another date. But I did this for in art class. I think it was 90 as well. But it was a zebra, and there's zebras in the background, and he's got a snake underneath of him. That's why he's rearing up. And then this one, I remember doing this one, and it was something to do with color. Like you could only use black and white to create a scene. Let me pull it out so you can see it better. So I had to use black and white. So, of course, I don't know why I thought of a train, but I got a train here, and you can see the front scoop, you can see the tracks, got a little bit of greenery coming in, and he's coming out of a tunnel, and then I got a little bit more greenery, and then you've got the curls of the smoke, and a little bit of smoke is out behind him. So I used all that to try to pull that out to make it look like a train, and then I got a shine mark right in here, and then a light. So yeah. It's always kind of cool to go back over stuff and look at it. I've had a few of you telling me that you've had art, but some of your things, like one of you just recently said that you had where you stored it and it got damp and everything. Oh, that's so sad. I had a cousin that stored some photos like that, some old family photos in the basement, and it had dew, and they were all stuck together. There was no way to save them. There was only one they could save, and it was gorgeous. But this was just something in project for college art class. Okay. I don't know. She must have had us doing like black and whites or something for a while. So that was another one. Now this is a caricature of my art teacher in college, Tamara Call. And then I did it from a photo. I got her with the Flintstones necklace on. Don't ask me why. And then she got a little sparkle on her tooth. Big old shine mark on her tooth. I'm not one to do caricatures, but she always had these really large eyes and a big smile. So that's why I did that. I think this is a copy because I gave her the original. I'm thinking that's what happened there. And this is a drawing that I did that I intended to go and do a pen and ink of, but I never just got around to it. And I think she's got and I think it was in 92 or 93. Was never really sure. Let me see if I can get in there. Yeah, that's stuck down there where I don't want it to be. So I'm going to stick it right there. There we go. But yeah, she's got a little blade. You can see her sword sheath, though it might be a little behind her. And she's got a lot of hair because she's got it hanging over her arm. Now, Helva. Helva was another pencil drawing that I did that I think Mom got a hold of. And this was a book that I read by Anne McCaffrey, The Ship Who Sang. Loved it. Loved it. I've even tried to read some of her work here, recently, because I had all those books. I just loved them. And I think that was it. Oh, well, this was later on in 2007, but I had a sketch that I did in pencil, and then I tried to do it in ink, and I'm not that happy at all with this is my grandma and her younger sister, Janie. But I just wasn't happy with how that turned out. But I gave that to Dad. He had it hanging up on the wall. He liked it. All right. Well, I thank you for coming by to visit and getting to see a few things. And everybody take care. And I'll see you again soon. Bye-bye.